lovelies. Round 2 of trying to make this video because the first time my microphone decided it was going to buzz the entire time. A consequence of me moving to Germany means that I am now in a different time zone, which means that I have to make choices about my schedule. I have decided to work a reversed schedule in order to manage my company. So what that looks like for me is my meetings aren't until 2 p.m. and they usually run until about 8 p.m. So I'm actually working a lot later than I used to, and than most people do. And I've made a few discoveries about that. So first of all, I really like having my mornings be my mornings. I don't feel like I have to rush through self-care anymore. I knew that I never had to technically rush through self-care in the first place, but for some reason, it always felt like I was watching my watch and making sure that I was done in time so that I could make it to my first meeting. And not just make it to my first meeting, but also make it to my first meeting with clarity and calmness rather than rushing in. Now my first meeting isn't until 2 p.m., which means that I'm done with my audacious morning long before my meetings begin, and I can start easing my way into work. I arrive at my meetings with more clarity, and I also arrive in my work feeling less pressure, because if I start at noon or 11:30 or 12:30, it doesn't actually make a difference to anyone except for myself. I also really like having my mornings available because it gives me the availability to show up for meetups that I want to go to, like my writers group, which is called Shut Up and Write, and that's an international concept. So there might be a meetup called Shut Up and Write where you are. I highly recommend taking a look for it. It also means that I can meet friends for coffee walks, which are super popular right now in Berlin since coffee shops are still closed during the pandemic. It means that I can make it to a business while it's open if I need to, or just take a walk and enjoy the sunlight, which the funny thing is, it was just sleeting 5 minutes ago. I started recording this video and now the sun is out. I feel like I actually get outside more when I'm working a reverse schedule. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the end of my days though, like if I would feel like I was rushing to bed because I had come out of meetings, but I actually feel pretty good about it. Now, if I had a good client meeting right before bed, sometimes that gets me on a natural high. My clients are super awesome and they're all building their own empires. And so it's fun to go into a meeting with them and really see what they've achieved and what we're planning together coming to fruition. I love it. So sometimes I end my day on a little bit of a high and I need to wind down. But generally, I actually feel like I'm not slamming into evening time anymore. It's to-dos that tend to make me feel a little bit more jittery and have a hard time coming down from. When I task, I focus really hard and I'm pushing the ball forward, usually in big leaps. So by having that segmented earlier in my day, that means that I am just spending time with my clients or other entrepreneurs I have meetings with. So I don't feel like there's an indicator light going off in my head that something didn't get done because I left tasking behind hours ago. So overall, I love working a reverse schedule. I've chosen this. I could switch my schedule to be a little bit earlier in the day, but I want to be able to accommodate not just Eastern time zone clients, but also Pacific time zone clients, and actually my Australian clients as well. So working in a Central European time zone and having my time shifted back a little bit actually works very well and is accommodating to the people who matter most in my business, which are my clients. So I do really enjoy working a reverse schedule. I feel like it fits my energy very well. It leaves my most creative energy for me in the morning when I want to write. It leaves time for me during the day in order to take care of the things I want to take care of. Also creates a good energy arc for me to wind down in the evenings. The danger of a reverse schedule, however, at least for me, is that I've noticed I can easily overwork. So if I start with my writers group in the morning at 10 a.m. and then just keep that momentum going, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., I've then worked a 10-hour day. That's too long. So I have to be really intentional about taking breaks throughout the day if I am working with my writers group in the morning. In some of my other videos, you've probably heard the church bells ringing, and those bells go off at noon and 6 p.m., which are really, really good markers for me At noon, if I have been working with my writers group, the noon bells remind me to take a break, to go on lunch, to read, to relax. And the 6 p.m. bells remind me that I'm close to the end of my day. The 6 p.m. bells actually kick off Scaling Lab for me, which is my mastermind group. And so it's really fun to be able to go into my mastermind group every week at 6 p.m. and have the bells ringing. Like, it's time for your final event and it's time for your mastermind. It's time to work with a group of clients that you love. That's really cool. Now, I admit that I am enjoying a reverse schedule during a pandemic. So I don't know what it's going to be like once things are open again. Right now, there's no startup events. There's no networking events. There's no pitch nights. And so I don't have some place to go at 6 or 7 p.m. in order to network and be a part of the community. My community is all online, and so it's all in my control. I predict, however, that I will continue enjoying a reverse schedule even once things have opened up again, but we shall see. Now, I'm curious what kind of schedule you found works for you. Most of you watchers are entrepreneurs, and that means that we're in control of our schedules. I've worked with a lot of clients who make choices about their schedules that are quite unique. I've worked with clients who work a 11 to 7. I've worked with clients who work a 2 to 10. I've worked with clients who start their work at 3 a.m., which you know who you are. I'm curious what works for you. I'd like to start a discussion around this in the comments. I found that every entrepreneur has a different sense of their energy throughout the day. Some do better in the morning, some do better in the evening. And I want this to be your permission slip to make these choices. It's up to you when you work. And naturally, you have to accommodate clients and customers, but you get to choose how that fits into your schedule. So tell me in the comments below, what have you found that works for you? What do you wish worked for you? And if you're one of those weird entrepreneurs who's able to do a split schedule, working half in the morning, half in the evening, I want to hear about that too. I'm so curious about that type of work. I look forward to your responses and ideas.